calories and exercise more and you'll lose weight. Well, that's just not always the case. Also, most Americans want to lose excess fat. A lot of these diet programs and things like that make you lose excess water or other things, but that's not really the type of weight you're looking to lose. You know, if water retention is an issue, we can address that. But really, most people are looking to lose that excess fat. And height versus weight, if you're very muscular, won't be very accurate as far as if you're overweight or not. So you can't really use that scale. It's really a matter of what type of tissues you're having in your body. You know, what's the ratio of fat versus lean tissue. And there are certain scales, and I think we have one here that can measure that as well.
We're going to have it at an open house, our fall open house, the in-body,
Oh.
the body composition.
Oh, yeah.
Get checks for how much actual muscle mass you have versus fat, all of that.
Right. And so we'll definitely be back for that because that's something that people need to know. It's not just checking the BMI, you know, are you over 25, which is overweight, or over 30, which is obese. It's, you know, how much lean muscle do you have in your body? Also, the main thing I think that everyone needs to take home from this is that obesity is a sign of imbalance. And the question is, where is that imbalance coming from? And that's the type of thing that I specialize in, pinpointing where that imbalance is, and we'll talk about some of those areas that they can occur in tonight. So, posing the question to you all, what do you think is the number one cause of obesity? And if y'all read the thing ahead of time, then you probably already know, but I hope you didn't. No, don't cheat. Stress? Okay. Stress. Anything else you think?
Bad eating habits.
Bad eating.
Biscuits after dinner.
No family secrets.
What? I said biscuit. I didn't say it.
Family secrets.
Uh-oh.
I should have points after dinner.
Oh, guilty.
So really the number one cause of obesity that I've seen is the number one cause, you turn the page now, is inflammation. And inflammation comes from different sources. So it comes from all those things, from the stress, from the bad eating, like Brenda said, from, you know, sometimes eating too late, staying up late to eat the biscuits, you know, that can cause inflammation. But inflammation is something that your body actually needs. It's a natural response to things like trauma, illness, injury, and it is to help your body repair itself. So you do need the inflammatory process. It's like there being an accident on the highway and all the rescue vehicles come to that area to kind of clear that accident. You need your inflammatory system, so if you get a paper cut and you don't bleed to death from it, those rescue workers come and clean up the area and fix that problem. But if it's going on all the time from eating things like foods that are too high in sugar or processed foods or things like that are keeping your body constantly inflamed, you don't want that congestion all the time. I mean, imagine a traffic bag up all the time in your body. To me, I call it a smoldering fire is what it is. You know, it's that little low-grade fire all the time going on in your body, and that obesity is one of the main signs of that.
Processed foods are the worst, is that what you said? I got processed foods down.
It's one of the causes of inflammation in the body.
Sugar.
It triggers it.
And sugar, that was the other one.
And we'll get into more of those as well. So ways to reduce inflammation. We're going to the next slide. Staying hydrated. So on a daily basis, I recommend for most people to drink half of your body weight in ounces. So if you weigh 200 pounds, then you want to drink about 100 ounces a day in water. And yes, I do mean water, not Crystal Light, not tea or other things. You know, you wouldn't wash your clothes in Crystal Light or tea. You know, that's not going to get the insides of your body clean. It won't get your clothes clean. So yes, it does need to be water. The next thing, balancing your metabolism. And so part of this is proper eating. And when I say proper eating, it's eating the right types of calories. So not just too much carbohydrates. You know, some people are heavy on fats and meats and things like that, but you do need enough lean protein in your body in order to fuel yourself and give yourself the nutrition that you need. a lot of people don't eat fresh fruits and vegetables that has a lot of your nutrients in it. And nowadays, our vegetables and fruits are so depleted in the nutrients that, you know, we may not be getting everything we need anyway. So, you know, you have to strategically supplement in those things that you may be becoming deficient in. And there are ways to test for that. Because everybody's metabolism is a little bit different. So if we all eat the same meal, what we absorb from it may be different. And so if we're not absorbing the same things, we need to see if there's something at play where we're becoming nutrient deficient in some way, and we can determine that through simple lab testing. All right, next page. Told you it was gonna go fast. De-stress. So you said this already. So stress is one of the things that can cause a lot of, and it's one of the hardest things to do as far as, you know, weight and inflammation is concerned, because stress turns on your cortisol in your body. And once your cortisol is up consistently, eventually your adrenals start to burn out and don't produce as much cortisol. Cortisol is good. It's something that you need. It wakes you up in the morning. It brings your blood pressure up. We need our cortisol. It helps our immune system to keep infections down and things like that. But over a long term, if it's staying up chronically, it is going to cause you to gain more weight. And mental stress, psychological stress will cause those cortisol levels to raise. Elevated levels over time will throw off your thyroid balance, throw off your other sex hormones like your estrogen, testosterone, DHEA, progesterone. All of those things get thrown off if your cortisol is off. And, you know, a lot of people have thyroid issues. You know, they think, oh, my weight issues because of thyroid. Well, it's not just because of thyroid. It's usually a thyroid and cortisol issue together, tied in with the rest of the hormones. They're all tightly balanced together, and you have to look at all of them, not just one.
And that's true. I know someone who seems to be perfectly fit, slim, bad thyroid issues.
Yep.
Are you talking about me?
Oh. No, I didn't say anybody tall.
She was describing me. I wanted to be sure that, you know,
Particularly thin and fit.
Careful what I
Yeah.
You're assuming I think you're thin and fit, right?
Oh, yeah. We're gonna have to separate you chair over here. Like you come stand next to me.
I'm sorry, that slipped away.
But de-stressing is really tough because it causes us to have to learn a different habit. We have to learn new strategies of how to deal with the stress. And almost everybody has stress. I mean, it just happens as a part of life, but it's about how we handle it and how we're choosing to respond to stress and not react to stress. So those are some of the things that I go through on an individual basis with, you know, people who come into my practice, you know, seeing what works for their personality and what's practical for them and how is a better way that we may approach some of the stresses in their lives. Sleep. This one is huge because if you don't get enough sleep, I'm talking about 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night. Some people are born only needing 5 to 6 hours. There's not that many people, but I know a lot of people who only get, you know, 5 hours of sleep a night. You know, usually they're chronically inflamed. They're having usually pain, joint pains, headaches, you know, some type of aches and pains, and maybe overweight. And let me add this note before I forget and get to the end of all this. If you have these processes going on and have inflammation, but you haven't gained weight from it, it's actually worse than gaining the weight, because the weight is a way to kind of buffer the toxins and buffer the processes that are going on and to keep your central organs safe. But if you're not gaining weight, but you're having that inflammation going on, that means you're getting damage to your heart and your vessels and the rest of your organs faster than if you had gained weight. So gaining weight kind of gives you a buffer time to get yourself together and, you know, to really get that inflammation under control. You know, so it's kind of a safety mechanism that's built in to protect your body and to protect your central organs.
Yeah, because then you kind of ask what's going on, why am I gaining weight? Because if you're not, you don't worry about it.
Right. And you ignore the processes that are going on. Oh, I'm fine. No, you're not. So sleep. Sleep has certain hormones associated with it. that increase and decrease when you sleep. So you increase the ghrelin hormone, which is the hunger hormone, if you don't get enough sleep. So if you stayed up late at night, and I know I have, I get really hungry and I'm like looking for snacks all night. And I'm like, why am I starving? Because that ghrelin has increased. And your leptin hormone that gives you that sense of fullness and satisfaction decreases when you stay up late and don't get enough sleep. So yeah, it triggers that hunger mechanism, and you do eat more when you sleep less.
So
And you have
another biscuit.
and you also have a reduced ability to resist cravings for certain things, like biscuits or donuts, things like that. Who said hush?
I didn't. I'm going to say something serious about this. So I have a high stress level,
Yes.
and I knew that. But I wasn't, it was like a stress like everybody else, right? Then when I started that I couldn't sleep at night, that's when I started getting concerned.
Yep.
With the fact that I couldn't sleep, the next thing I noticed that was out of the ordinary was every day I had to have a bag of potato chips. And Felix said, I mean, if they had them, I was going to grab them and put them in my drawer, because I know that I never cared about potato chips before.
Yeah.
And after about 2 weeks of eating a bag of potato chips every day, and I didn't care what kind it was, as long as it's potato chips, I was like, something is wrong. And I said, my adrenals must be fried.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You pinpointed the adrenals and your cortisol, because with that stress, those cortisol levels go up. Now, cortisol is supposed to fluctuate during the day. Like I said, we need our cortisol to wake us up, but during the day, those levels are supposed to fall. And when you sleep at night, they regenerate to get you up in the morning again, and then fall again during the day. If those levels aren't falling and you're keeping them up artificially because of stress or perceived stress, which is most of the time what it is, because most of us aren't getting attacked by wild animals or lions. We don't have to run, and defend ourselves for our lives. Usually here we're very fortunate and blessed to be in a safe place at most of the time. But if we're having those elevated cortisol levels, that's one of the main reasons that people cannot sleep, because the stress, the cortisol is staying high, and if it's to wake you up, how can you go to sleep if those levels are still elevated in the evening time? And that was the last point. The cortisol imbalance goes up and down if you're not sleeping, because during the night when you're getting ready to rest, then that's when those cortisol levels begin to regenerate. So as soon as you lay down, your cortisol levels start to rebuild and to their peak, hopefully in the morning when you wake up, and then gradually decrease again during the day. Detoxification. So toxins are a huge cause of obesity and just being overweight that I've seen. It's also one of the biggest causes of thyroid imbalance and hormone imbalance. So toxins are everywhere. We're always exposed to toxins. We're always consuming toxins. There's no real way to get away from it. But we do have to be conscious about detoxing on a regular basis. One of the best ways to detox is just drink your water. We said that first, hydrate, drink plenty of water. But toxins activate your body's inflammatory cascade. There are a lot of molecules in your body that are triggered by the toxins in your body. So that will kind of turn that fire on and won't let it go off. So the main way to get rid of toxins is to, get them out of your environment. So for instance, this lovely lady put mineral makeup on my face. It wasn't laced with the toxins, the chemicals that a lot of makeup has in it. Your skin is your biggest organ. We have to be very conscious about what we choose to put on as far as lotions and creams and makeups and things that are always on our skin. The other thing that's on our skin are our clothes. What did you wash your clothes in? Was it, maybe I won't say the brand names on camera, but what did you wash your clothes in? Is it one of those powerful artificial scents and things like that, or the free and clear versions, which have a lot of chemicals and a lot of toxins? Those things are absorbing into your skin all day long. And so that's a big way that a lot of people are getting exposed to toxins, and they're just not aware of it, that it's interrupting their biochemical and hormone pathways. What are you cleaning your house with? Are you still using Clorox and other types of bleach and ammonias and harsh chemicals and things like that? Those interrupt the thyroid, directly interrupt, and that's why I put the board up so I can kind of show how it does that, because it's exactly what it does. So for instance, we have, I'll just make a simple diagram. This is your thyroid hormone, and you need iodine for your thyroid to work properly. So iodine attaches supposedly in 4 spots to your thyroid hormone. T4 is the main thyroid hormone that your thyroid gland that's in the front of your neck makes. The active version is called T3, and it's because it has 3 iodines instead of the 4. If you are exposed to toxins, what will happen is those toxins like bromine that are in strawberries, processed foods, the processed flours and baked goods and things like that, a bromine will attach here instead and not an iodine. And now your body can't recognize this. It can't use your thyroid hormone anymore. And your thyroid is necessary from everything, from head to toe, from your mentality, from your focus, to your digestion, to your skin tone and getting wrinkles, and everything in your body, your thyroid hormone works with.
And that's from strawberries?
Bromine is in a lot of things. It's in the cleaning products. It's just one of the things.
Wow.
It's in most
We always
flowers.
hear berries are the best fruits.
Most flowers is.
Yeah, but not organic strawberries. That's why I say organic fruits and vegetables, so you can avoid most of the toxins. There's not only this toxin. There are tens of thousands of different toxins that can do this. So that's why I say, it's necessary to be conscious about what types of things do this and to avoid it as much as possible.
Processed foods.
Right, we're not gonna avoid it, 100%. We live in Houston, we breathe air and we're getting the toxins, but if we can reduce that some, then that would be best. And just being aware, that's all, just to bring awareness, not to, we don't need to live in a bubble, we can't, how will life be enjoyable like that, Shouldn't be a way to stress us out even more. Okay, so some easy ways to detox. We said reducing exposure to water. Exercise is a great way to detox. Yoga and things like that, a lot of the poses will increase your lymphatic drainage to detox. Getting proper nutrition will help your body detox, especially foods with B12 and folates in it. Supplements can help you detox and get rid of some of these things. And infrared saunas. Brenda will probably have one soon, to help. Detox. We need an infrared sauna in Sugarland, Brenda.
Talk to me after this.
All right. Allergens is another big cause of inflammation, and a lot of people don't know they have allergies to certain things, and not just seasonal environmental allergies like pollens and those type of things. They can be allergies, hidden allergies to food. Some of the big allergies that people have, especially to foods, are dairy, eggs, nuts. Gluten is a huge one that a lot of people hear about, and gluten cross-reacts with a lot of things. The one I heard that it cross-reacts with today was coffee. And I'm like, ooh, a lot of people will be mad at that because, we love our coffee, right? But allergies will turn on that fire in the body and not allow it to go out. So one of the things you can do is figure out what is it that the allergy is, because some people don't know that they're having an allergy. If they're having chronic skin problems or chronic coughing or drainage or something else is going on, chronic headaches, chronic mood depression or things like that can all be tied to allergies, and it's because it's throwing your body and your hormone pathways off. The weight can be tied to that as well. So if weight isn't coming off, then I would look for hidden food allergies, something that you don't know about. When you're allergic to a food, it doesn't always mean you're going to get an itchy throat and itchy tongue and break out in a rash. It doesn't always show up like that. Easy ways to help regenerate the gut as well, which needs to be in balance with certain bacteria. We try and keep ourselves so clean and use antibacterial soaps and all these things. But sometimes that will eliminate some of the good bacteria in our gut, which we need to help us digest and help us to process our nutrients. So taking a very good, high quality probiotic, which I know Brenda has some, and so do I, will help that gut balance and to help eliminate some of those food allergies as well. Avoiding certain medications, anti-inflammatory medications. Some people are on a lot of Aleve or Advil or naproxen or things like that. Those will throw off your gut balance and cause you not to digest properly, and then cause that inflammation to build. Even though it's an anti-inflammatory, over time it's going to cause chronic inflammation in the body, and a lot of times will lead to weight gain. Chronic antibiotics, steroids, acid blocker medicines, synthetic hormones. So, I don't use synthetic hormones. I only do bioidentical because it's what your body can recognize. It doesn't cause inflammation in the body. Next on the list, balance your hormones. Your thyroid, testosterone, DHEA, cortisol, estrogen, progesterone, all those are necessary for proper metabolism. They reduce inflammation in and of themselves. Also your vitamin D, and a lot of people don't know that vitamin D is one of your hormones, but it's one of the most important ones. And you can get that over the counter, but we need enough vitamin D in our body to keep inflammation down. Hormones will turn off inflammation when they're in the proper balance. A lot of times hormones will get out of balance because we're just not having enough being produced, and a lot of times it's because we're getting into those toxins and things like that. I think it's one of the number one causes of low hormones is toxins. So if you feel like your hormones are off, maybe trying to detox would help. Exercise is one of the good things to help too, and you don't have to do anything extra to exercise, but it can put a lot of those things in balance. So getting those hormones checked to make sure they're in the proper ratios and the proper balance, especially if weight is, not moving like it should. It's like, I've exercised, I've dieted, I've done everything, I sleep. Why am I not losing weight, So we check the hormones, and a lot of times there's an imbalance. All right. Okay. So, what are my solutions? Number one, identify the source of your inflammation. We went over several things that can cause inflammation. But if you don't know which thing is causing it, then you're going to be trying this and that. Oh, well, I already drink half of my body weight in water. Maybe I'll just drink some more water. Well, it might not be a hydration issue for you. It may be something else. Maybe it's mixing the calories around, or maybe it's if you're having a nutritional deficiency. There are ways to identify those things so you're not playing guessing games and trying this and trying that. They can get very costly. And I know a lot of people who have a lot of supplements in the cabinet and have tried, all types of things to lose weight. And it's like, just figure out what the cause is and address that. And it's pretty easy to do with a little bit of testing. So sometimes you can do saliva tests to check hormones, or a micronutrient test to see if you're absorbing nutrients, or an allergy test to see if you're allergic to something that's causing that type of weight gain or causing an imbalance with the hormones. So those things aren't hard to do. Questions?
What do you recommend for detoxing? Because it sounds like, aside from water, if you've got some of these issues, start with detoxing before you start adding back in.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you recommend for detoxing?
There are different detoxes, and based on what's going on with that person, I choose a detox that's more custom to them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I do custom detoxes based on what that person has going on. If we can identify a source first. So for instance, if it's allergies or something like that, we'll detox, especially with water. We'll detox the liver and things like that. So yeah.
So we're talking foods, or we're talking like detox, like going to the bathroom detox?
All of it.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, some people won't do supplements. They're like, I'm not drinking a tea and taking pills. So we'll do a food regimen. It'll take longer, about 3 to 6 months to get the effect, but it will be effective.
So if you do like what you're talking about, detox, is that like a week or a few
Right.
days, or?
Yeah. So anywhere from 7 to 10 days as a upfront detox. Some people, it depends on kind of how far you let the inflammation go. Sometimes you need to go up to 14 days, sometimes to 21 days for an aggressive detox.
7 to 10 is kind of average.
Yes. But most people aren't average.
So if you've got a thyroid problem already, that you're being treated for, well, I'm talking about me. So I have a thyroid problem already, and I'm stressed, and I've, and all those other things. So, where do I start?
Well, we start where you feel that you can make a change. And it's really about that, changing the lifestyle to be more accommodating to the health. To me, health and wellness is a lifestyle.
Right.
So how can we get Brenda less stressed? I don't know if it's possible.
Liz is over here laughing too.
Don't drag me into your mess.
What about supplements?
I just mentioned.
Supplements for stress? There are supplements for stress to kind of balance the hormones. B12 is a great one. There's a nice B12 supplement here that will help to minimize stress, but it's not the end all cure for it.
Right.
That takes different choices. I have a lot of type A clients who aren't going to change what they're doing, and that's okay. We can work with that. It's your choice how you want to live your life and what you want to do. I'm just here to help support you so that you can feel your best while you're doing what those things are you want to do. If you want to live a high level, high intensity life, and you are high functioning and highly productive and fabulous and beautiful and all those things at the same time. But if you want to keep those things going and maintain it, you have to know what your body's going to need to maintain it. And a lot of times that's supplemented additionally in addition to whatever you're doing already. It's exercising on a regular basis, especially for the type A's who are going all the time. You have to do those things to support yourself and prioritize your health. So getting those things done in the beginning of the day to make sure that you're able to maintain your activity.
Right. So, and I do all those things too. So what supplements? You mentioned the vitamin D, you talked about some about B12. What supplements do you suggest that most women, if you just had to pick 3, 5, whatever, that you think that all women should have?
You definitely need the B vitamins. You need the vitamin D. You need the omegas. And most of us know about omegas, yeah? Okay.
I don't know.
I said no.
Oh, okay.
So, omegas are a great source to reduce inflammation. Omegas, there are different types of omegas. Omega-3, omega-6, omega-9. There's omega-7s. There are all types of omega vitamins. They're fat molecules, the good kind of fats. Omega-6 most of us get from fried foods and things like that. The American diet is high in omega-6, and when that gets out of balance with omega-3, then you get inflammation in the body. So most of us have too much omega-6. We need more omega-3, more omega-9, which is in olive oil, coconut oil, those type of things. Avocado, salmon, walnuts, almonds, tuna. Not canned, kind of the filet or sushi type tuna. Those
Subway.
yeah. Right. And plus, I don't know exactly what's in their bread. I like Subway though. But I don't eat it every day. But we need those things to help keep our heart healthy and to keep our vessels clear. We need that balance of omegas in our body to reduce inflammation, and it does. Probiotics. That's another huge one that most people aren't getting in. We're consuming, whatever we can get on the go, and it's depleting ourselves of the good bacteria in our gut, and we really need it. They call our gut now our second brain, and they're thinking it may be the first brain because it's processing a lot of our neurological information in the gut. So a lot of mood issues and things like that are stimulated from the gut. So getting that in healthy order is going to be best.
Good information.
So what if you're just a total mess? You know, I drink less than a bottle of water a day.
Uh-oh.
I have maybe one fruit, 2 vegetables, and I wrote down 5 bread. But, you know, I don't exercise. I have thyroid, blood pressure, and everything else. Like, where does the person start when they're so far on this side of where they would like to?
You start with a choice. It starts with a choice. And maybe start with a consultation. We have all of our free consultation gifts. Just really calm down to see what your goals are and what your priorities are. Sometimes it takes, you know, somebody walking with you step by step just to really define and be able to articulate well what your goals are as far as your health. You know, there's a lot that you want to accomplish, you know. You want more energy, you want the blood pressure going, you want the thyroid balance, you want to lose weight, you know, all of these goals at the same time, but that's not going to happen tomorrow or next week. So what do we focus on first? Maybe it'll be drinking a little more water, and how practically can you do that during the day?
That was Bird.
You know, but making it practical for you, you know, or maybe you are able to exercise in the mornings or in the evenings or something like that. How can it be practical? Getting down into your schedule and spending that time to see, you know, what is it that's gonna be that trigger to make the difference for you. But you just start somewhere. You start small and work your way up.
2 bottles of water.
That's
Can
right.
I finish the one?
Yeah,
Get
she
from
has to
the
finish
fridge
the
every-
one.
That's the hard thing, if you're not used to drinking water, you have to start with putting some lime in it, or
Yeah.
a lemon, or cucumber, something to help you get through that, until
Right.
it becomes more of a habit, but you gotta find a flavor that,
Yeah.
even orange.
And
Like-
even when I transitioned to water, exactly what Andy said, that's what I did. I cut the sodas out, but then I went kind of to juice, and then from juice to like half juice, half water, and then all to water, and that's pretty much all I drink now. But it's a transition process. It's not a tomorrow I'm gonna do all of these things. You won't do it.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes it so overwhelming.
Uh-huh.
When you know, gosh, I need to do this, I should be doing that, I
Uh-huh.
should be doing this, where the heck do you start? And
Pick one and just work on it.
Yeah. I like motivational speakers. One of them said, you know, most of us should all over ourselves, you know.
yeah.
Oh, I should do this, I should that, you know. Forget about the shoulds. What do you want to do? And let's set a goal and do that. You know, what can we do tomorrow? Can we finish the bottle of water tomorrow? Okay, now we made an accomplishment.
My plant is gonna die.
Oh, no.
The plant is already dead.
I'm thinking it has leaves.
They're brown.
Which means that the inside of your body is doing the same.
Ooh, good.
Good.
I will drink
There's a grab for you.
Whoa. Say, Brenda, you're going on the road with me.
She doesn't want me, but she wants you.